Thank you, Justice Duffy. Now, Charmaine Yost. Dr. Charmaine Yost is President and CEO of Americans United for Life. Dr. Yost began her career in the White House during the Reagan administration. She's also worked as the project director of the Family, Gender, and Tenure Project at the University of Virginia and as vice president at the Family Research Council. She received her BA from Wheaton College and her MA and PhD from the University of Virginia. Dr. Yost, your entire statement will be read in the record, and you may proceed.
Chairman, Ranking Member Sessions, Senator Hatch, thank you very much for the opportunity to testify today on behalf of Americans United for Life, the nation's oldest pro-life public interest law and policy organization. Our vision at AUL is a nation where everyone is welcomed in life and protected in law. We've been committed to defending human life through vigorous judicial, legislative, and educational efforts since 1971 and have been involved in every abortion-related case before the Supreme Court, including Roe v. Wade. In fact, 30 years ago this week, AUL successfully defended the constitutionality of the Hyde Amendment before the Supreme Court in Harris v. McRae, a landmark case in defense of unborn human life. I'm here tonight because of AUL's strong opposition to the nomination of Solicitor General Elena Kagan to the United States Supreme Court. Based on our research, we believe that Ms. Kagan will be an agenda-driven justice on the court and that she will oppose even the most widely accepted protections for unborn human life. These hearings have strengthened our opposition to Ms. Kagan's appointment, as the record shows she was willing to manipulate the facts to pursue her own personal political agenda while serving as an advisor to President Clinton. Indeed, she demonstrated a pattern of behavior of letting her passion for a particular policy, in this case partial birth abortion, overwhelm her judgment. Tonight I'd like to make 3 points. First, I urge this committee to officially investigate the discrepancies that have arisen this week between Ms. Kagan's testimony and the written record about her actions related to potentially lobbying the American Medical Association and the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists during her tenure in the Clinton White House. The questions surrounding this period are troubling and call into question Ms. Kagan's ability to adopt an impartial judicial temperament. Second, Ms. Kagan has an extensive record that demonstrates her hostility to regulations of abortion and any protections for unborn human life. We believe that Ms. Kagan would undermine any efforts by representatives to pass or defend even the most widely accepted common sense regulations of abortion, like bans on partial birth abortion, parental notification, and informed consent. Her testimony this week, particularly her response to Senator Feinstein that any regulation of abortion requires the Doe health exception, has added to this concern. Then third, we believe that a nominee's judicial philosophy goes to the heart of his or her qualifications to serve on the United States Supreme Court. And we believe that Ms. Kagan's agenda-driven judicial philosophy makes her unqualified to serve on the court. We're asking this committee to investigate Ms. Kagan's record related to her interaction with both the AMA and ACOG during her tenure as a policy advisor to President Clinton. I'd like to focus attention tonight on her apparent efforts to influence and distort the record on the medical science related to partial birth abortion. In a December 14, 1996 memo, Ms. Kagan addressed the pending release of a proposed statement by ACOG that partial birth abortion is never medically necessary. The release of such a statement, she argued, would be a disaster. In response, White House documents show that Ms. Kagan drafted an amendment to ACOG's statement, dramatically altering their language, which stated that partial birth abortion, and I quote, may be the best or most appropriate in a particular circumstance to save the life or preserve the health of a woman. ACOG subsequently adopted Ms. Kagan's handwritten change into their final statement. Ms. Kagan claimed before this committee that she was simply a scribe for changes coming from ACOG, but her response raises more questions than it answers. And this was not an isolated case. We have further evidence that she pursued the same strategy with the AMA. Similar to ACOG's original position, the AMA issued a policy stating that no situations had been identified where partial birth abortion was the only method of abortion and that ethical concerns surround it. In a White House email dated June 1, 1997, Ms. Kagan wrote that she just came from a meeting which focused on, quote, whether the AMA policy can be reversed at its convention on June 23rd. She then concluded, we agreed to do a bit of thinking about whether we could contribute to that effort. Ms. Kagan was so opposed to the passage of a ban on partial birth abortion that she appears to have advocated for ACOG and the AMA to suppress or modify their medical view. She made a deliberate decision to advocate for partial birth abortion, even to the point of working to deceive the American public about the medical science related to the procedure. On this panel tonight, we've heard quite a bit about the role of women in the judicial system. Let me just say, as a woman, that this deeply offends me. Thank you.
And they'll be read in the record.
Thank you.